where MAGA Republicans want to kill Americans, kill Americans, kill Americans, kill Americans. That's what is happening before our eyes. And Democrats have been fighting back. They've offered literally hundreds of amendments. Democrat after Democrat would show up in the Rules Committee. They would offer their own testimony just to try to slow things down and to call out the MAGA Republican ploy, offer the most basic of amendments. I'll give you an example. Ro Khanna, but there's 1,000 other examples like this. But Democratic Congress member Ro Khanna says, okay, can we all agree that we're not going to rip away health care from children? Can we do, in whatever this big disastrous bill of yours is, can we just put in a line just to be sure? Because we see that you're taking away health care from children and that you're going to kill kids. Can we just put in a line just for the peace of mind of all of our constituents? There are children who live in red states. There are children who live in blue states. There are children who live in purple states. What is the point of a federal government if it's not going to, at the most basic level, be helpful, even to children? To children. And so Ro Khanna tries to put that forward, and he tries to offer an amendment. And the MAGA Republicans are saying, no, we don't agree to that. And why don't they agree to that? They don't agree to that because they want to kill children. That's part of it, so that rich people could get tax cuts. And I'm sorry if I'm being crass. Actually, I'm not sorry, because I'm just talking about what this is. And I think that, and I know corporate news isn't saying it like this. I don't even know if they're even covering this. What are they talking about? Joe Biden or some stupid shit? Trying to defame him when things were actually working. Now Treasury yields are a complete disaster. The markets are completely out of whack. They look like a Trump meme coin right now. Oh, speaking of Trump meme coin, by the way, one of the big things in this new 40-page manager's amendment, it says that they want to name your child's savings accounts. They want to call them Trump savings accounts now. Trump said they were going to call them MAGA savings accounts. Now they're going to call them Trump savings account. Seriously? So I want to show you some of the updates of what's taken place kind of right now. And then I want to share with you the interviews that I've done with, I did 14 interviews today. I interviewed 14 Democratic Congress members, including Leader Jeffries, and I was getting their takes on all different issues. I want to share those interviews with you. But the big update, before I play you the Ro Khanna clip and some of the more recent stuff, is that you've got this 40-page manager's amendment. It's the lingo, manager's amendment, just dropped. And basically what that means is that, like in the Rules Committee, they basically make changes. That's what they call it, an amendment. And usually there's nothing usual about this, but maybe that's like a small change here or there, redact the, remove this, redline this, add this. But this is 40 pages, so kind of fundamentally making worse what was already horrific from this morning. Like, that's where we're at now. So this 40-page manager's amendment is what it's called, just dropped. And the MAGA Republicans want to drop it like that so that nobody can even read it and nobody knows what's in it, or the Congressional Budget Office is unable to score it so we know how many more millions of people are going to be kicked off healthcare, how many more children are going to be killed by the MAGA Republicans, and not just children, how many more people are going to die. And I don't want to mince words. Die because of what these idiotic MAGA Republicans are doing for Donald Trump while they laugh at you in Mar-a-Lago and give you the middle finger and mock you and treat you like shit. Because that's what they think about you, these MAGA Republicans. They laugh at you at Mar-a-Lago. with their billionaire buddies. They laugh at you, they mock you, and they want to kill you. And that's what they do. And I'm not being hyperbolic, because we see over and over. What do you call it when you cut FEMA aid, when you cut FEMA relief? When areas like St. Louis suffer the worst storms in their recent history, where 28 Americans have died, and Donald Trump doesn't even talk about it, but instead he spends his day in the Oval Office with white supremacist brain rot videos, conspiracy theories, making a mockery of the United States in front of the South African president. Donald Trump doesn't even address the deaths of Americans, and FEMA's not providing aid. What do you call, what other words can be used to describe it? They call this a big, beautiful bill. This is a big, massive disaster, one of the biggest catastrophes ever, if this thing actually comes to pass. And don't even get me started with all these people who call themselves deficit hawks. Deficit hawks. That's their stupid name for themselves. This mess, this MAGA mush, is going to add $6 trillion at least to the deficit. And if you listen to some other MAGA Republicans who actually oppose this thing, maybe $20 trillion, maybe $20 trillion. That's what I predicted 4 or 5 months ago, that $20 trillion would be added to the deficit from this. I mean, Donald Trump added what, $8 trillion his first term? What do you think he's going to do this? This is multiples worse than anything we saw during the first term. And by the way, we've been reading through this 40-page amendment right here. I've been looking through it. Let me give you just some of my takeaways. I've jotted down some notes right here of this manager's amendment that just dropped. The biggest losers that I'm seeing in this manager's amendment, I mean, aside from the American people, but in terms of the Republicans, that's what I'm talking about now. The biggest losers are the so-called moderate House Republicans, who are about to walk the plank in service of Donald Trump and MAGA Mike Johnson. You know, the whole SALT issue, the state and local tax deduction issue. So all of those Republicans in the blue states who made promises that they would get the SALT deduction cap up to 100,000. Now they're settling at 40,000. So promises broken right there. Medicaid cuts are going to kick in much sooner under the manager's amendment. You know, this is basically the right-wing fever dream right here as well. And it seems that, you know, the interesting thing is that the moderate Republicans are the ones who are going to suffer the most. We also know that Medicare is on the chopping blocks on this as well. So let me just give you some examples right now. So here's an example. Ro Khanna, as I mentioned before, he says, let's offer an amendment to protect the children. Fair. MAGA Republicans say, nope, not protecting the children. Here, play this clip.
We have a common sense bipartisan amendment. No American child under the age of 18 should lose their health care because of this bill. As you know, 42% of America's children rely on Medicaid. The chairman of the Energy and Commerce Committee said, no one is going to lose their health care. No kids are going to lose their health care. President Trump keeps saying it's all about waste, fraud, and abuse. We're just going after waste, fraud, and abuse. Representative Crenshaw says no kids are going to lose their health insurance. And a number of Republicans wrote in a letter to the Speaker that they should make sure no kids lose their health insurance. But the reality is, independent estimates are that 800,000 kids in this country are going to lose their health care. I think we can all agree that any child born in America should have health care. So if the Republicans agree that kids shouldn't lose health care, why not just have a simple amendment in this bill saying we guarantee that no kid is going to lose health care. Now you ask, why is it that kids are going to